Hey ROCKDODGER, I'm making this video especially for you. This has been sitting in my study for quite a while now. This is my custom built Mame arcade. I picked up the cabinet for $75 at a local like a pinball shop. Didn't have a monitor in it. It was an old Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja machine. 2 players, 4 buttons per player. Funny thing is, when I got it home, there was $25 in quarters still in the coin box, which still works. So I actually got the cabinet for $50 with the game board still in it. Sold the game board for $10, so I guess I really only paid about $40 for this cabinet. But I refinished it, painted it, got a new marquee, Mame Arcade, multi-arcade machine emulator is what that stands for. I'm sure many of you know what Mame is. Runs all the original ROMs from all your any arcade classic you can imagine. I can go into a little bit of the guts. It's kind of tough to get the joystick panel to drop down. There's latches from the inside. The green button down there is free play. Insert your coins. I originally had the coin box working, but I got tired of getting the quarters out, so I mean, it still works, but I used the free play button. The blue button will take you back to a menu screen, and then you have 2 players, A, B, C, D buttons, and I had to replace all the buttons, all the controls. They were worn out. First and second player, and then player 2. And the way I rigged this up, I just got a flat screen CRT, made a new bezel, purchased a new piece of plexiglass, put the power button on that little momentary push button using the stock speaker location. I did have the marquee backlit, but the LEDs weren't that high quality and they have since burned out. I've got a older Shuttle XPC, which I don't even know if you might be able to see it in here. That is the heart of it all. Runs all the ROMs. Don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see. Keep the mouse in here just in case I need it. There's the old Shuttle AMD 64. But anyway, the coin box is still operational. It's wired up. What I did was, for this side of the controls and these controls, the 4 buttons and your 1 player, 2 player buttons, I took an old IBM keyboard controller and hacked it. So I'm using just a little tiny keyboard controller PCB to manage all of these keys. Now for player 2, I used an old gamepad PCB and hacked it. So you basically have keyboard input through a keyboard controller connected to these buttons, this joystick, and these 2 buttons. This joystick, these 4 buttons, your menu, and your free play are run off of the gamepad PCB. And again, if I could drop this panel down, you would see all that. So give me 1 second and let me boot this up. It's running XP Lite, but you really don't even notice it going into Windows. I've disabled the Windows splash screens and put in my own custom ones. Then it'll come up to a Mame menu interface where there's about 5,000 original arcade ROMs to choose from. So I'll be right back. Okay, we'll watch it boot up. You see the post screen. Not a big deal. Now you won't see the Windows splash. You get a nice Mame splash screen to replace the Windows XP. All the lights are run off the power supply on the computer. Thank God for 12 volt. You'll see the Windows welcome screen briefly, and then it immediately goes into the menu system. And I have not even turned this thing on in about 8 months. I'm using GameX as my front end. This is the free version of it, so there is a nag screen. But the video quality is phenomenal. The sound is great. I mean, every aspect of it feels like the old arcade. And once I get into the menu, I'll bring up a game or two and show you how it works. Here we go, it's loading up. You got all Mame games, Mame originals, multiplayer, yada yada, vector games, horizontal games, and you can also make a favorites. And the way I've set this up is with your one player control, you choose your category. Let's see. Get down to my favorites. Neo Geo always made great games. Atari, light gun games. Now I don't have a light gun or a trackball, so here's my favorites. It's been a while. I think it's this button or this button. Well, is like enter. There we go. Afterburner 2. Not too interested in that. Let's see. Predator. These are just in my favorites. I mean, there's like 5,000 games on here. Bad Dudes. That's the that's what the cabinet originally was. One of my all-time favorites is Ghosts and Goblins, or Ghouls and Ghosts. It was called several different things. So, you find the game you want. You just hit enter. It's going to launch the ROM. I'll play this game. There we go. It's launching the ROM. It runs through the self-test the way the original machine would have. You'll see the self-check here in just a second. It's not a glitch. The original machines, when you first turned them on, they would go through the same power-up self-tests. And then you'll come up to the original game. Not a remake. This is the actual ROM. It's doing memory tests. This is one game I just loved. Now, it's going to be kind of hard to do any playing with one hand, recording in one hand, moving the joystick. But anyway, this would take you back to the menu. This is my free play button. Every time I hit it, it puts a quarter in. And now I can choose one or two player. Let's choose one. And oh yes, I have all the Mortal Kombats and whatnot. I don't know how I'm doing this. Not easy. Never tried playing this with one hand before. Oops, naked now. But anyway, we'll try one more game. Blue button takes you back to the menu. Pretty simple. I've got more favorites, or you could just go through the entire list, but there are a lot to go back. I think I got it set to this key. This key. Yep. Mega Man 2. These are just, again, in my favorites. That was always a fun one. It was a, I think that was put out by, no, it says Namco. I thought it was by Atari, but let's see. I'll load up a fighting game so you can see some real graphics. X-Men versus Street Fighter. I'll just let the demo run on this. Keep in mind this is just an AMD 64. I think it's 1.5 gigahertz processor. Pretty old machine. An older NVIDIA GeForce accelerator. And that's basically it. And running XP Lite, so that kind of a stripped down OS. Got rid of all the unnecessary elements in XP to get the most performance. Haven't seen the Don't Use Drugs Neo Geo in a long time. Excellent response, excellent frame rate. Anyway, just a little demo. Thought some of you might be interested, and if you're interested in building your own, I'd be happy to give any advice that you might need. But my buddy ROCKDODGER is really into this kind of thing, so I really made this video for him. But I hope many others find it interesting as well. You guys take care.